This is the story of Whitey Winklemeyer. Growing up on the mean streets of Pasadena, Whitey Winklemeyer had one dream. And that dream was to be the best street warrior that the streets had ever seen. Whitey Winklemeyer didn't always have an easy childhood. Growing up in a white suburban neighborhood and being named Whitey, he was often made fun of for being too white, too suburban, too weak, too pathetic, too cisgendered. But Whitey didn't let all of that hold him back. In fact, the fact that he came from an incredibly wealthy family that would finance his training in any career he wanted, he didn't let that hold him back from trying to accomplish his dreams. His dreams of becoming a street warrior. Whitey Winklemeyer was not a woman and white, as per his storyline, which was just given and which locks us into one selection now. And he was very uneditable. And yeah, apparently he... Let's see. Was he editable? Are you sure you want to be... Are you sure Whitey wants to be Slugger? Yes. Can Whitey Winklemeyer be edited? Or yeah. Okay. Whitey Winklemeyer was very laggy. No, he was very white. He was like the whitest person you know. Whitey Winklemeyer often was called the Ghost in school. Not because he was particularly scary, but because he was just hard to see. He was hard to see. He was like blind people when they looked at him. Whitey Winklemeyer was never one to shy away from certain fashion trends. He enjoyed having style that stuck out. Whitey Winklemeyer was... Jacksepticeye? Markiplier? No. Whitey Winklemeyer was a blonde Anglo-Saxon milquetoast cracker. His eyebrows were incredibly small. He was always very mad or sad. No, he was always sad because people were constantly telling him he couldn't accomplish his dreams. Whitey Winklemeyer had cheekbones to die for. And his cheeks were very strange. Whitey Winklemeyer was a man slight of nose. He was slight of nose with a tremendous mouth. A mouth that often got him into trouble on schoolyard fights. Not in schoolyard fights, but on them. And his mouth was... Whitey Winklemeyer was a low-mouthed, large-mouthed son of a bitch. Yes, that's Whitey Winklemeyer. Whitey Winklemeyer, when he would get into schoolyard fights, he would often take it on the chin, leading to him having a very diminutive, small little tiny chin that had been beaten up into his face. Whitey Winklemeyer's jaw... very slight of jaw. And yes, that is Whitey Winklemeyer, and he would come to be known as Whitey Winklemeyer. That's what he would become to be known as because that was his name. He came from the Winklemeyer family. Can he have different clothing? Whitey Winklemeyer had different clothing. Whitey Winklemeyer was often seen wearing his trademarked Pepsi Cola t-shirt? No. His trademark... Yes, he always wore... He wanted to look his best for the street brawls. So he always dressed to impress. He would wear a suit jacket, tie, and I mean, long black pants would seem to go with his outfit, but that wasn't Whitey Winklemeyer's style. Whitey Winklemeyer was kind of brash and in your face. He was the kind of guy to dress like a complete lunatic. Let's see. What would Whitey want? What hashtag? What would Whitey want? That was a hashtag that swept the nation. As soon as Whitey Winklemeyer exploded onto the street brawl scene in his suit and jeans, wearing his... There were no Crocs available, which is what he really wanted to wear, but yeah. And then he coughed. But yeah, Whitey Winklemeyer, also known for his obsession with gloves. He was obsessed, completely obsessed with gloves. He liked wearing boxing gloves, especially, because he was just that type of guy. Whitey Winklemeyer would like to wear a jack-o'-lantern, but then no one would see his beautiful, beautiful face. Whitey Winklemeyer sometimes would impersonate a police officer, often to get himself out of trouble. Like, whenever anybody accused him of improprieties, he would just claim to be a police officer and let himself off the hook. Because that was how he rolled. He had a fake badge, he had everything. He had a light on his car. Sometimes he would pull over women at night on the street. But that's a different story. That's an entirely different story. Whitey Winklemeyer saw himself as a star. And, yeah, Whitey Winklemeyer also was all about those Benjamins. He was all about that bacon. Yeah, that was part of his ensemble when he would pretend to be a police officer. Oh, what? No! Ah, game, why do you make an icon that doesn't tell you what it does? Show equipped clothes. Don't show equipped clothes. What? Ah, fucking hell. Alright, I gotta do that all again. And then Whitey Winklemeyer realized that all of these clothes cost real-world money, and he wasn't gonna pay anything for a shitty free game. Okay. So Whitey Winklemeyer was done with that shit. Boop. And Whitey Winklemeyer decided to get brawling, or was there more that he needed to do? Whitey Winklemeyer was not interested in the mechanics of the game, or any of that bullshit. Whitey Winklemeyer realized that everything in the game cost money, and that he was completely fucked. Whitey Winklemeyer was not on a good road for the start of his career. No. Whitey Winklemeyer was about to fucking die. He was gonna die in his first street brawl. That's the story of Whitey Winklemeyer. Spoiler alert for the end of this story. Whitey Winklemeyer dies at the end. Yeah. Whitey Winklemeyer waited a very long time to be sorted into a game, because there probably wasn't anyone else playing street brawls at the time. Whitey Winklemeyer was a force to be reckoned with. His famous frog punch was feared throughout the entire basement in which he trained in, where nobody else ever entered or saw him. The only thing more feared than his furious famous frog punch was his repeated Rockette kick. He had trained with the Rockettes in New York City and learned their ways. He asked them to teach him. But most feared of all was his fakey kicky, where he would fake kicking you to scare you until you had a heart attack. I'm gonna kick you, Whitey would say. Whitey Winklemeyer started engaging in the chat. Whitey Winklemeyer waited 5 ever for the training room to load. Undaunted by all of the waiting and sneezing, Whitey Winklemeyer decided to enter the training arena. Whitey Winklemeyer had several fans. Whitey Winklemeyer had 10 fans who had come to see him perform. He punched them out one by one, as was his custom. Hiya, 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 said Winky Winklemeyer. Winky Winklemeyer. His new name was Winky Winklemeyer. That was going to be his stage name, his show name. Because when you enter the world of street brawls, you get extremely tired for no reason. No, you have to change your name, because otherwise people know who to sue for all the damages. But yes, Whitey Winklemeyer, or Winky Wanklewire, or whatever the fuck I called him, had a new stage name. He had a new plan. His plan was to roll his way to victory. And sponsored by Pitbull by pit bull doggy-doo containment bags, Whitey Winklemeyer was well on his way to sprinting for short distances and turning on sticky keys while doing so. Whitey Winklemeyer didn't know anybody who ever wanted to turn on sticky keys and wondered why the feature existed. He wanted ice cream from the ice cream truck, but he couldn't figure out how to get past the fence. Whitey Winklemeyer couldn't jump. He had never been a jumper, even when he was a small child, and his parents had been potty training him and simultaneously trying to teach him how to jump. He just couldn't get either one. Whitey Winklemeyer shat himself often. Whitey Winklemeyer asked the ice cream man to throw him a bomb pop. The ice cream man said that he was a paramedic and not there to serve ice cream. Whitey Winklemeyer kicked at him in rage. He kicked at him and said, "Give me a bomb pop. Give me a bomb pop, Mr. EMT. I'm in desperate need, in desperate physical danger if I don't get ice cream right now. I'm gonna cry," said Whitey Winklemeyer. Whitey Winklemeyer, thoroughly triggered, decided to roll. Not roll. He decided to never roll again because the button was no longer working. Instead, he got very tired once more. Whitey Winklemeyer decided to go look at the trains. He rolled once to make sure that the button worked again. He tried to read. Whitey Winklemeyer had never been a reader. Pooping himself, an inability to jump, and illiteracy were Whitey Winklemeyer's three biggest problems. Also an inability to pronounce his own name, often calling himself Wanky Willy Wonker, Winky Wagglewire, and Wigglewags the Wigwag. But yes, he tried to read the cargo, and it said, Fergers? Wink! 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 Winky! Somebody spray painted your name up on the train. Oh my god. Somebody gets you, Winky Winklemeyer. Aw, somebody out there is a big fan. Everybody continued to cheer for the strange suburban white boy who came from money, rolling around a dirt enclosure. In fact, this had been a grass enclosure until Winky Winklemeyer had first been inserted into the containment unit. When he was shoved in there, for the safety of himself and others, he began immediately running and rolling and rolling and running until he wore all the grass into dirt. He looked at his fans. His fans were as follows: Butch, the local butcher; the local mechanic, Chauncey; Green Pants Larry; Green Shirt Phil. Green Pants Larry and Green Shirt Phil had often been associated with each other and were thought to be dating, but it turned out that they had just robbed the same dead man of his clothes. There was the cameraman, Mitchell, who didn't know how to record anything and couldn't track somebody left and right. There was the man in the yellow tracksuit, known as Golden Floyd. Golden Floyd was one of the best trainers in the business. He had trained Winky Wanker for several seconds until he realized there was no potential. The man in the black hoodie was Baldy Magoo. Baldy Magoo used to be very special as the only bald man in town, but then everyone shaved their heads, and Baldy Magoo was very sad. The man in red, Fendel Starenpacker, was a meat packer who stared at people named Fendel. There was a guy that Winky didn't know and had never seen before, and looked as if he had just wandered in from the woods after falling asleep there after a long bender. There was the man in the red pants and blue shirt, who, oddly enough, was wearing a red shirt and blue pants yesterday. And then there was the ice cream man and the train. The train was also a big fan. There was the bird that flew in the sky, the bird who often shat on Winky Wankwinker the Third, but Winky knew that was just to test him. It was a test of his bravery and skill. Could he fight 10 men with bird shit in his eyes? He couldn't fight 10 men normally, but maybe if he couldn't see them and quiver in fear because there was bird shit in his eyes, maybe he would be able to. Winky decided to pick some flowers and thrill at the stunning gameplay of Street Brawls. Winky Winklemeyer discovered that someone in town didn't much like him. which was a very big surprise because he was such a beloved member of the town. The person who was to become his arch rival was Justin Timberlake, the actual Justin Timberlake. He didn't like his music and decided to punch randomly for no reason until Justin Timberlake was dead. He killed Justin Timberlake, who, instead of bringing sexy back, was actually going to have a broken back and be in traction. Hold on. Wanky Winklemeyer needed just a little bit of time to breathe before he got back to pummeling the shit out of this random dude. Yes, arrows started appearing on the screen, along with blank boxes. Yes, combos something that you have to do started happening. Winky was very tired. Winky Winklemeyer needed a break. Winky Winklemeyer said, "Hold on just a minute, Justin Timberlake. Prepare for the enemy attack, hold space to defend." Wanky Winklemeyer was the best at cowering in fear. Ow. Wanky Winklemeyer got punched in the face once after punching the enemy, Justin Timberlake, 72 times. Alright, now let's teach him a lesson. Wait, what? Now let's teach him a lesson, said Wanky Winklemeyer as he shat on the corpse. He had often been shitting himself ever since childhood, so it wasn't something he did purposefully. And that apparently was what happened. Winky Winklemeyer knew that he was now ready for advanced combat. He decided to take on his most tough opponent yet. This was Fred Durst of the band Stained. No, Nickelback. No, Disturbed. I don't know. Fred Durst of the Beatles, who Wanky Winklemeyer often owed money to and didn't want to pay. That was his whole reason for disliking this poor honest man who was working. Hold on a minute. Wanky Winklemeyer needed to sneeze, so he ran away. He sneezed on his fans, who lovingly lapped up his snot, because that was the type of weirdos they were. "Hiya, hiya, hiya," said Wanky Winklemeyer, as he wanked all over the winkles of... He gave a blowjob to Fred Durst just to confuse him, just to put him off a little bit, make him think he was getting something good amid the beating. But no, the advanced training was very advanced. Wanky Winklemeyer was so thoroughly tested by the advanced training that he could barely keep clicking as nothing happened. It was so advanced, in fact, that the AI seemed like it wasn't even moving because it was moving so fast. In fact, Winky Winklemeyer decided to go breathe again and stand there looking menacing with blood on his face that probably is not his own blood. He beat Fred Durst into a bloody pulp and said, "How's that for a limp biscuit?" finally remembering what band Fred Durst was from. He gave a roundhouse kick, and then another kick, and then another kick, and then several punches in what was very thrilling. Very thrilling. A very thrilling brawl. It must be very fun for his audience to watch. His audience of subscribers, I mean local townspeople, thrilled at Tormental, I mean Wanky, just fucking beating the shit out of an AI for no fucking reason, like it was a goddamn cookie clicker game. He wondered how long it would take to kill this fucking bastard. He bent over with his ass toward the enemy, hoping that something would spark some kind of initiative in him. Maybe if he showed his ass, it would finally make Fred Durst come to life, pop up and come a shimmying over, just to do something, to do anything, even if it was just grabbing his booty. He secretly wondered how much health Fred Durst had. Winky Winklemeyer, for the first time in his life, thought that there might be something he couldn't do, and that was end this battle. Ever, at all, in any way, through any means, at any time, within the next 24 hours. Winky Winklemeyer decided to stop recording at this time. Emboldened by his impossible death-defying feat of beating Fred Durst, Wanky Winklemeyer decided to pick up a brick and huck it at the first person he saw, which happened to be this guy. Or not. Maybe he decided not to. Maybe he just felt like putting it in his hand and doing the same exact fucking thing. Where the fuck did it go? Pick it up again. Okay, thank you. Words appeared to Wanky Winklemeyer. Wanky Winklemeyer missed. Wanky Winklemeyer was not very good at throwing. He was in fact, very bad. He would aim for the dick often and hit people in the face. Wanky Winklemeyer looked for the baseball bat. He had tried playing baseball when he was a child, but it didn't work out. The reason it didn't work out is because he would often try to hit the audience, especially the cameraman, who was often a constant disappointment to him. Wanky Winklemeyer lost control of the bat for no reason and could no longer pick it up. The bat teleported around the world. It was a magical bat. It was like the bat that Batman must use, Winky thought, making absolutely no sense. Winky Winklemeyer decided to throw it at the enemy for no reason. He hit him in the face. It was amazing. Alright, that actually, right there, concludes the story of Winky Winkle Wozniak the Third, who, shortly after this training match, was hit by a train and killed forever, and was never seen again. His body was never recovered. Some say that he still haunts the train tracks, carrying a massive barrel over his head in an impossible manner. Others say that he probably just was knocked from the train tracks down into a ravine and was picked apart by coyotes. The world will never know.